What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Fantasy Puck video. I'm your host, Mike, and today's video is going to be on 5 lottery ticket trade targets. And what I mean by this is players with extremely high risk, but a very high reward that could ultimately help you win your league and win your fantasy playoffs. Before we jump into this video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and make sure you hop in our Discord. This will be super helpful for playoff time as everyone is super active in there. Starts and sits, injuries, goalie starts, everything happens in our Discord. So if you're not in there, click the link in the description below and jump in. Without further ado, let's jump in to the 5 league winning lottery ticket trade targets. Before we jump in, I just want to let you know the league scoring that'll be going into this video, as I'm going to be talking about fantasy points per game. For me, this is one of my biggest leagues. It's a little bit different than standard Yahoo scoring, but not by much. So goals, 6 points, assists, 4 points, power play points are 2, shots on goal, 0.9, hits are 1, and blocks are 1. I think the difference between this and regular Yahoo is hits and blocks are scored as 1 and not 0.9. So when I break down some of the players, I'm going to be talking about fantasy points per game, and this is what's going to go into them. Got to talk about the goalie too a little bit here. So not too much from the goalie side, as usually is in fantasy. Wins are 5, goals against -3, saves 0.6, and shutouts are 6. So a very, very big emphasis on goaltending that does not let up a lot of goals against. Not really a volume league, more of a league where you'd rather take a goalie on a better defensive team. All right, so let's hop right into the first trade target. And I know there's been some news recently that Evander Kane is now out until at least February 2nd because of his bankruptcy hearing. The team knew about this beforehand, but we definitely didn't. I actually just traded for him in a league, and now he's just going to sit on my IR and wait until he's back before he gets into my lineup. But still, he is back in the NHL after missing 31 games due to that gruesome injury where Patrick Maroon stepped on his wrist. And Evander Kane before injury was an absolute beast. 10.43 fantasy points per game, the 14th best in the NHL. He's right around some of those best names that you see: Matthews, Marner, Zibanejad, Kyle Connor. Evander Kane's been right up there with those guys, and due to his injury and lack of games played, his current rank in the league scoring that I mentioned is 471. Now, there's a good chance that you won't be able to get him for a player like 300 to 400, but the trade targets below definitely provide some sense of what value you can get for Evander Kane. In my league, I ended up trading Kemper, Kyrou, 16th and 17th for Evander Kane, Seguin, and 2 7ths. So I was able to upgrade picks and acquire a potential league winner / keeper, especially in those banger leagues. So right now, Edmonton as a team, if you're watching the games, they're scoring so many goals. Connor McDavid is just unbelievable right now. 3.69 goals per 60, the 3rd best scoring rate in the NHL. You want to be taking players that are on high scoring offenses, teams that are just in the offensive zone and creating offense. The one thing about Evander Kane is he did start on the second line with Leon Draisaitl, so he's not with McDavid currently. Don't think this is any cause for concern. And he is power play 2 due to Hyman's surgeons. He has been so good right now, but still no cause for concern. I think Evander Kane has arguably the highest floor aside from Brady Tkachuk in the entire league. 17 plus minutes since returning. Again, I think these minutes should go up soon. He hasn't played in 31 games, so you can't just throw him in and play 22 minutes. But his rates are unbelievable. 11.65 shots per 60, the 12th best shot rate in the NHL. 11.28 hits per 60, 39th best. Doesn't seem too glamorous, but you have to think about all those 3rd and 4th line players like Cal Clutterbuck, who gets a ton of hits and doesn't play a lot of minutes, so it's a little inflated. But if I were to break it down by just shots and hits, he is way up there. 3.7 shots per game and 3.6 hits per game. One of the highest floors, as I mentioned, in the entire NHL. Now, looking at trade targets, it's going to be hard. I don't really know how people in your league feel about Evander Kane, but still, I think Rickard Rakell is a very good trade option, very similar style player with, I think, a little bit less upside than Kane. Alexander Tuch, very hot team, and Jordan Kyrou, someone that I traded for to acquire Evander Kane. I feel like it was a little too bright in those last clips. Anyways, moving on. Nikolaj Ehlers of the Winnipeg Jets, left wing, right wing eligible, 87% owned over on Yahoo. I didn't change the first sentence because Nikolaj Ehlers also had a really bad injury and missed 36 games, but he is now back on this high firing Winnipeg Jets offense that's been fantastic this year. Defense really good, and Connor Hellebuyck has just been shutting the door back to his Vezina caliber, just like we saw in 2020. So Nikolaj Ehlers, 11.36 fantasy points per game, the 11th best rate in the league. Now, I just want to say, and I think some of you are probably thinking it, obviously, as the sample continues to grow, this may go down if he has a couple bad games. It's very, very volatile right now, but I still think Ehlers has huge upside. He was very, very good last year, and he seems to be off to a great start this year. Current rank, 581, and since return in 13 games, 17 points, a 1.31 point per game rate, 41 shots, 3.15 shots per game, 87 shot attempts, 6.7 shot attempts per game, and he's averaging 16 minutes and 45 seconds time on ice. He is playing on the top power play unit, which we love to see. I really do like this Winnipeg power play unit. And then if some of you own these Winnipeg players, it's very good, I think, to stack Ehlers and another guy that you have potential on the top power play unit. Winnipeg has been great this season offensively, which is kind of a surprise given the lackluster offense we've seen in the past couple of years. 3.3 goals per game, 10th best in the NHL. Another very good offense, at least top 10 right now, especially for goals. And I think Ehlers in some leagues, especially with his very high shot rate, which only contributes to a higher floor, he has top 10 to 15 upside in some leagues. So he doesn't hit, doesn't block, but still he's going to get you power play points. He's going to get you a ton of shots, very high shot rate, very high shot attempt rate. And you're going to get someone that has very high goal upside. So I love Ehlers. I love the risk of taking him on to my team, especially for later in the season. And some trade ideas. So Joe Pavelski has been very good this year. I think if you're going to try and acquire Ehlers, people know he does have quite a bit of name value. So you're going to have to give up someone a little bit less risky in Pavelski. I think Chychrun has very similar trade value, and Dylan Larkin, especially if you have an abundance of centers, it'd be good to move a center and try and acquire someone with dual wing eligibility. I know that's been a problem with some of the people in the Discord. They just have too many centers, looking for some wingers. I think Ehlers is a great trade option. Finally, the last forward for this video, Jack Eichel of the Vegas Golden Knights. One of the most talked about players in our Discord. A lot of people don't really know what to do with him right now. A lot of people are trying to trade him away. I think this is a perfect time to buy low on Jack Eichel. His struggles recently are definitely lowering his value, and especially his injury history. Talking about fantasy points per game here, 9.2 fantasy points per game this season, the 40th best in the NHL, which I think actually has more upside than what we've seen, and I will get into that. Current rank 132, so it's still not even cracking the top 100. Line 1, power play 1, 19 minutes ATOI this season. He's the go-to guy there, and we all know that. They traded for him. He's the one center. He's going to be doing everything offensively to bring this team to the playoffs. And I just want to make some notes pre-injury. 24 games played, 11 goals, 15 assists for 26 points, 89 shots on goal. So he was on pace prior to injury for 88 points, 308 shots on goal. That's easily a top 50 player upside with even more upside if he continued on a very good trajectory. I can't pronounce that word. Post-injury, 12 games played, 4 goals, 4 assists, 38 shots on goal. Hasn't been good since returning. And that pace, 54 points, 259 shots on goal. This Vegas team, again, similar to last season, just cannot stay healthy. Mark Stone was off to a great start. He's hurt now, at least out to the All-Star break from what I read. It looks like Shea Theodore is supposed to be back either tonight. I'm recording on Thursday the 26th or tomorrow, Friday the 27th. So that is a very good sign for this Golden Knights team. Theodore is a very good puck-moving defenseman. I think has it correlates to the offense upside for the forwards as well when you have a good puck-moving defenseman coming back into the lineup, playing good minutes, playing good power play minutes. And Mark Stone should follow after the All-Star break from what I read. So we'll see what the reports say on Stone after the All-Star break, but he is a very key person to get back in this lineup to help Jack Eichel. So some trade ideas here. Martin Necas, a lot of people have been trying to sell him too. I think he still has some good value. Nico Hischier, if you're trying to just swap center for center, I think Eichel has more upside than Hischier. And Nazem Kadri, similar situation. I do like Kadri's floor quite a bit, but I think Eichel's upside is easily a top 40 player for the rest of the season. Trajectory. Man, I can't pronounce it. Anyways, moving on. The first and only defenseman in this video, because I'm going to talk about just 5 players. Jakob Chychrun of the Arizona Coyotes, someone I held in my big league on my IR since very, very early in the season, and man, has he been paying off. People are still sleeping on Chychrun. He's just 76% owned over on Yahoo, which I honestly can't tell you why. He's been so good recently. 9.62 fantasy points per game, 9th best amongst defensemen, and his current rank is 206, so 32 games played this season, so he is lagging in the games played category. And we just got news today that Shane Gostisbehere out 4 to 6 weeks. Really increases Chychrun's opportunity. He should play at least 25 plus minutes moving forward. solidified that power play 1 quarterback role. Clayton Keller's been hot. The team has actually been way better than people have expected this year. And his 82 game pace since returning, 32 games played, 25 points. But his 82 game pace, 64 points, 256 shots on goal, 133 blocks, and 107 hits. Very, very good numbers all around. That's more Sider numbers from last season with more shots on goal. Chychrun's averaging over 3 shots a game, like right around Nikolaj Ehlers' range, and he's a defenseman. Another couple things I like, his minutes are very good, 23 minutes per night. And again, with Gostisbehere out, should only go up. And I think he's a potential trade target at the free agency or at the trade deadline. I don't really know what's going to happen here. I haven't seen too many rumors, but if he does get moved, it should be to a contender similar to Hampus Lindholm, like we saw last year, go to the Bruins. We could see Chychrun go to a contender, make an immediate impact. For those in plus-minus leagues, this will only help Chychrun's upside. I really like him this season. I really like how he's been performing this year. Some trade ideas, Joel Eriksson-Ek, that's who Jeek is, for those who are going to ask in the comments. Seth Jones, who's actually been pretty good. And I see a lot of people talking about Vince Dunn. If you can get Chychrun for Vince Dunn, I love the upside here, especially with Chychrun's floor being much higher than Dunn. But they do have similar trade value. You all thought this was going to be Markstrom. Don't lie to me. You thought this was going to be Jacob Markstrom, and I'm really skeptical on making this, but Freddy Andersen of the Carolina Hurricanes is the last lottery ticket trade target here. He did leave last game, and a lot of people in the Discord talking Ranta or Kochetkov. I pronounced it right there, Kochetkov. It has to be that. Come on. Anyways, Freddy Andersen, if he stays healthy, a lot of owners are getting complacent with him right now. I don't own him anywhere, but in a couple of my leagues, people are like, who wants Freddy? I think this is a good time to acquire him. Very high risk, very high reward. 11.09 fantasy points per game, 18th amongst goalies, and I will get into why I think he could be a little bit higher. Current rank, 603, so way down there in terms of goaltending, but everyone knows the upside with Freddy and how good he was last year. Carolina as a team, 2.61 goals against per 60, 5th best goals against rate in the league. Crazy to think that Boston is below 2. Don't know if you've seen that for a long time in the NHL. 72% win percentage, 2nd best in the NHL, again behind Boston in this crazy season they're having. So with Freddy's fantasy points per game and his rank pre-injury, 8 games played, so 8 starts, 5 wins, 3 losses, an 880 save percentage, and a 284 goals against average. Not good. Since returning from injury and going to this very, very good Canes team, 5 games played, 4 wins, 0 losses, a 290 or 929 save percentage, and a 208 goals against average. These are elite numbers. Jake Ottinger and Allmark numbers here from Freddy. If he can stay healthy, he could easily be a top 3 to 5 goalie for the rest of the season. I can't see Ranta taking any of his starts. Another injury-prone goaltender here. Some trade ideas for Freddy Andersen. Matty Beniers, Hurdle, or Samsonov. It's so hard to judge Freddy's current trade value. It's really dependent on the owner and how sick of him, or how sick of Freddy Andersen they are. Let me know in the comment section below some of the trades you guys are looking to make for any of the players mentioned in this video, and I'll do my best to help you out. If you're on the Discord, all the trades and all the trade help you'll get in there directly from us and the whole FP team and everyone else in the Discord. Let me know what you guys think Freddy Andersen's trade value is. I actually don't know, and it was really hard for me to pick up players here, but I would move any of these players for Freddy, especially if I'm desperate for a goaltender. That will do it for the lottery winning trade target video. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.